Ashkenazi Jews who trace their ancestry back to Central and Eastern Europe, have a tradition called the wimple. And they take a cloth and they wrap a child in that cloth when they are brought into the covenant as a baby. And then save that cloth, perhaps decorate it, and use it also to wrap the Torah when that child becomes bar bat mitzvah and celebrates other events in their life. In this congregation, we have adapted that tradition. Each class together makes a wimple. Each member of the class makes an individual panel, and together we create this wimple. And wrap the Torah in it each time a member of the class comes up to become bar bat mitzvah. We bring it out again, they're confirmed, and for other life cycle events. Now, Ellie's going to figure out what hers is. That's cool. Apropos of today being Sukkot, that's just very clever. Ellie did the Sukkah. Right there in the middle. Now, we will wrap the Torah in the wimple. Although our first reader is going to be Ellie's sister, Clara. And for the first Aliyah, before we do that, let's have Ellie come up and introduce the portion.
My Torah portion is Ki Mitzvah, Exodus chapter 33, verses 12 to chapter 34, verse 3. Before my Torah portion, God has seen the golden calf and has gotten really angry. Currently, God is talking to Moses before Moses goes to Mount Sinai a second time.
Now we bring up for the first Aliyah, Ellie's cousins, Zachary Saltzman and Alexander Saltzman. Ya'alu, Ephraim ben Yitzhak Yaakov, Medina Peril, Abraham ben Raphael, ben Yitzhak Yaakov, Medina Peril, Aliyah, L'Torah. Second Aliyah, we bring up Ellie's grandmother, Elaine Saltzman, and uncle and aunts, Richard and Diane Saltzman. Yamdu, Itavan Raphael Hugel, Yitzhak Yaakov, Ben Ephraim, Ben Dina, Carol, Bat Moshe, Menachem, Menzel, Ben Chana, Aliyah, L'Torah.
Hello, Velatecha, Mayu, Ani, Necha, Mikol Ha'am, Asher Alpaneha Adonai, Vayo, Omer Adonai, Moshe, Garment Hadavar, Hazeh, Asher Dibar, Ha'esek, Kimatzati, Heng, Be'enai, Vayacha, B'Shem.
Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan לנו תורה חדש, וחיי עולם נתן בתוכנו, ברוך אתה אדוני, נותן התורה. אמן.
Now for the third Aliyah, we bring up Ellie's cousins, Marcia Perna, Stan and Dale Feinberg, and Michael Salzman. Yamdu, Malkatana, Batman, Rachel, Zachariah, Shlomo, Ben Aharon, Shaya, Barika, Zizi, Yitzhak, Ben Aharon, Shaya, Barika, Ben Yitzhak, Ben Mordecai, Basha, Aliyah, and Torah.
Baruch Adonai Baruch, Baruch Adonai Baruch Le'olam Va'ed, Baruch Adonai Baruch Le'olam Va'ed, Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim, v'natan lanu et torato, Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher natan lanu et Torah emet, v'chayei olam natan b'tochenu, Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Now we bring up Ellie's parents, Valerie Salzman and Tom Stitch. Malona, Malta Israel, Manafayim, Vikitala, Aliyah, and Torah.
Baruch Adonai Baruch Le'olam Va'ed,
Baruch Adonai Baruch Le'olam Va'ed, Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim, v'natan lanu et torato, Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
mark that Ellie has become a bat mitzvah, as we call her to the Torah by her Hebrew name. Ba'amona Reyana Mori Bat Ham Malka Rezo Bat HaMitzvah La'aliyah L'Torah.
Baruch Adonai Baruch Le'olam Va'ed.
Asher b'charvanu mikohanim v'natan lanu et torto Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Vayomer Adonai el Moshe v'solecha shnei luchot avanim karishanim v'chatati al haluchot et hadavarim asher hayu al haluchot harishanim asher shivarta v'hiyad nachon Boker ve'ali itava boker al har Sinai v'nitzavta li sham al rosh ha'ar ve'ish lo ya'aleh ima ve'gam ish al yuhu v'chol ha'ar kal hatzon ve'chavakar al yuhu al mur ha'ar hahu.
Now we invite up Ellie's father, Tom Smith, to read the translation of Ellie's Torah portion. You see, I handed a piece of paper to him. That is because instead of using the translation provided for us, Ellie worked very hard over several months to translate her Torah portion herself from the Hebrew into the English, and that is the Torah portion the father will be reading.
And Moses said to God, "Look, you say to me, lead this people, but you do not make known to me whom you will send with me. And you said, I will be known to you by name, and also you have found favor in my eyes. And now, please, if I find favor in your eyes, please let me know your ways, and you will make it known that I have found favor in your eyes, and they will see that this nation is your people." And God said, "They will walk in my presence, and I will lift your burden." And Moses said to God, "If they aren't walking in your presence, don't send us up from here. And how will it be known consequently that I will find favor in your eyes, I and your people? Unless you walk with us, we will disappear, your people and I, from all the peoples who are on the face of the earth." And God said to Moses, "Also this thing that you said, I will do, because you have found favor in my eyes, and I will be known to you by name." And Moses said, "May I please behold your honor?" And God said, "I will make all of my good and my acts of graciousness and compassion that I do pass in front of you, and I will call out by the name of Adonai in front of you." And God said, "You will not be able to see me, because no one sees me and lives." And God said, "Here is a place next to me, and you will stand on this rock. And while my honor is passing by, I will place you in a cleft of the rock, and I will keep my palm over you until I have passed. I will remove my palm, and you will see my back, but you will not see my face." And God said to Moses, "Carve for yourself 2 stone tablets like the first, and I will write on the tablets the words that existed on the first tablets that you broke. Be ready in the morning, and you will go up in the morning to Mount Sinai. You will stand by me there on top of the mountain. And nobody should go up with you, and nobody should be seen on the whole mountain. Even the sheep and the cattle will not graze up against the mountain."
And now the ushers will be passing candy out to you. There is a tradition in Judaism that says that this moment, when a child becomes bar or bat mitzvah, should be a moment of sweetness. And so traditionally what we do is gently rain sweetness down upon them. You chuckle, but I want to make things clear. Even though the family has thoughtfully provided that there is an eye surgeon here present. He was here to celebrate and does not want to have to perform surgery. So, we are going to gently shower Ellie with candy, and there are a few rules before you do so. Number one, you can't throw until I tell you to throw. Number two, and most important, you need to throw underhand. I demonstrate to you underhand. No, I think the other way. Underhand. Because that way the candy will shower down upon her and not head straight for her eye. Third, you are not allowed. Randy, I think about that. Third, you need to sing if you're going to throw. Some of you will sing as a traditional song of congratulations at various flight cycle events. The words are very simple: Simon Tov, Mazel Tov. Now you've got them. So, once again, to review the rules. Don't throw until I tell you. Throw underhand. I'm going to the reception. If I see you throw overhand, I will make sure you don't get any of the good food. And number three, you need to sing or you can't throw. Ellie's uncle, Richard Saltzman, is to dress the Torah for great aunt, Rhoda Feinberg. Please be seated.
My Torah portion is Ezekiel chapter 39, verses 1 through 7. God is talking about the war with Gog. He is saying that he will destroy Gog, so his name will never again be diminished. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher bachar b'minim tovim v'rachach b'divreihem v'ne'emerim be'emet. Baruch atah Adonai Asher V'Tuva V'Shovaticha V'Shisheticha V'Haliticha Niarkutei Zavon V'Havioticha Alei Israel V'Hiketi Hashecha Niyad V'Molecha V'Yitzecha Niyad Yeminecha Apir Al-Harei Yisrael Tikol Atadachla Rapecha Ve'amim Asher Itah Le'Itzipor Kol Hana Ve'chayat Hazadeh Nataticha Le'Okra Al-Panei Hazadeh Tipol Ki Ani Tivarti Ne'u Adonai Elohim V'shilachti Eish V'magov U'yoshvei Ha'im L'abeta V'yadi'u Ki Ani Adonai Ve'ishem Koshi Odiya V'toch Ami Yisrael V'lo Achel Et Shem Koshi V'yadi'u Hagorim Ki Ani Adonai Kadosh Israel. I would like to invite my aunt and uncle, Liz and David Russell, to read the translation of my Haftorah portion.
And you, O mortal, prophesy against Gog, and say, Thus saith the Lord God, I am going to deal with you, O Gog, chief prince of Meshech and Tubal. I will turn you around and drive you on, and I will take you from the far north and lead you toward the mountains of Israel. I will strike your bow from your left hand, and I will loosen the arrows from your right hand. You shall fall on the mountains of Israel, you and all your battalions and the peoples who are with you. And I will give you as food to carrion birds of every sort, and to the beasts of the field, as you lie in the open field. For I have spoken, declares the Lord God.
And I will send a fire against Magog and against those who dwell secure in the coastlands, and they shall know that I am the Lord. And I will make my holy name known among my people Israel, and never again will I let my holy name be profaned. And the nations shall know that I am the Lord, that I, the Lord, am holy in Israel.
Adonai Elohim melech haolam, tzur kol hadmi, hatifeh kol hadirot, ha'eman ha'omer be'oseh, ha'meber b'chayim, shechol devarav emet b'tzedek, al haTorah, ya'havodah, ya'hanim, ya'yom ha'shabbat hazeh, she'natata lanu Adonai Elohim, itishavu mincha, lechavod v'tivareh. Ahakol Adonai Eloheinu Anachnu Ro'ika Mivarchim Ota Yisrach Shimcha V'Tikol Chai Tamid Le'olam Ha'ed Baruch Atah Adonai Mekadesh HaShabbat. Amen.
Turn out our prayer books to page 23. As we invite up Gabby and Sergio Pinero to open the ark for us, please rise. God's teaching is perfect, reviving the soul.
God's word is unfailing, making wise and simple.
God's precepts are right, delighting the mind.
God's wisdom is clear, giving light to the eyes.
God's doctrine is pure, enduring forever.
God's guidance is true, and altogether just.
Please be seated.
In my portion, Kitisa, Moses is talking to God. Moses has just recently come down from Mount Sinai and found the golden calf. The reason the people built the golden calf is because they were questioning the existence of God. So, when Moses is talking to God, he's asking God to lead the people out of the desert so it will be known that God has chosen them. God agrees to lead the people. Moses then says, if you have truly chosen me to lead, may I please see your presence? God says Moses can see his presence through God's goodness and God's compassion. But Moses wants to see God's face. God says that Moses may not see his face because no one sees his face and lives. But God compromises and says he will put Moses in a cleft of the rock and will guard him while God passes. And he will be able to see God's back. Finally, God asks Moses to write a second set of commandments. He tells Moses to go out to Mount Sinai with 2 stones, and God will inscribe them with the same words as the first set. He tells Moses to go in the morning and to go alone. Previously, God has gotten angry when he sees the golden calf and punished the people. When my Torah portion is happening, Moses is talking to God. He is saying that if God has truly forgiven the people, God needs to show it. God needs to lead them on their journey. God says he will lead the people forward. Moses says, if you do not lead us forward, do not make us lead. Because if God does not go in the lead, the people will not know that they have gained his forgiveness. God gets really mad at the Israelites, but still agrees to lead them in the promised land. God separates himself from his anger to do what's best for others. While it may be hard, almost impossible sometimes, we must strive to look back and see what the other person was going through and see if we can forgive them. Not only must we forgive people verbally, but we must forgive people through our actions. If someone gets into a fight with their friend, but then relents and forgives his friend, but continues to act distant and angry to them, then they are not truly forgiving this friend. A personal example I have is with my sister. As with most siblings, we fight occasionally. When we do, one of us usually backs down and apologizes. So, say Clara was apologizing to me. I will usually forgive her. But sometimes, even once I've forgiven her, not all of my anger dissipates, and I am obnoxious to her later. In this situation, I may have said I forgive her, but I have not genuinely forgiven her. As the old saying goes, actions speak louder than words. All my life, I've heard becoming a bar mitzvah means becoming a Jewish adult. And all my life, I've said, how can you be an adult at 13? And while preparing for my bar mitzvah, I realized that to me, a Jewish adult doesn't only mean fasting at Yom Kippur, going to adult services, or even keeping Passover. To me, it means becoming a role model, a teacher, and a helper. I have tried to do that through my bar mitzvah project. I have worked on raising money and awareness for Charity Water, a charity that helps people in third world countries that need clean, accessible drinking water. This charity really spoke to me when I realized that water is the most basic need that not everyone has. And it's something I take for granted. I complain about the taste of tap water when people walk miles a day to get dirty lake water. By participating in raising money and awareness for this important cause, I am being a role model by showing people a way to do a mitzvah. I am teaching people about this important issue, and I am helping those who need clean water. In the future, I will continue in my Jewish education. I will go back to Hebrew schools and aid. I will continue with Charity Water by continuing to raise awareness, hopefully giving a presentation at the elementary schools. I would like to thank the rabbi for helping me with my translation and my sermon, and Cantor Vicky for helping me with my half Torah and Torah portions. I would also like to thank all my Hebrew and Sunday school teachers for helping me to get to this point. I would like to thank my friends for keeping me level-headed and always being there for me. I would like to thank my sister Clara for helping me with Hebrew and translation and always listening when I needed her. I would especially like to thank my mom and dad for helping me with my Torah portion, my sermon, and my prayers, always being positive and encouraging, and always being ready to help, but mostly for being the best mom and dad ever. Finally, some of you came from far away, and I really appreciate you for that. I would like to thank all of you for coming to help me celebrate this special day. It wouldn't be the same without you.
In your portion, you read about the aftermath of the incident of the golden calf. You spoke about how both God and Moses, and God and the people, need to repair their relationships after that trauma. God and Moses need to not only forgive the people, but show how the relationship can continue by their actions. At Moses' request, God agrees to lead the people with the divine presence, and to allow Moses to see God's kavod. In your sermon, you explained how forgiveness is not just about words, but about actions as well. Without those actions, God, Moses, and the people, or you and Clara, may have forgiven each other, but as you said, there would be no going forward, no relationship that has lasted to this day. Ellie, your analysis of this story and of what happened after the golden calf leads us to ask the question, why? Why is the story of the golden calf itself preserved in the Torah at all? Since it is our book, why would we continue to retell every year an incident not only in which we look bad, but so do God and Moses? Wouldn't it be better if we just stopped telling it? Isn't that part of forgiveness? Forgetting? Perhaps not. If we had erased this story from our collective memory, what would you have had to talk about this morning? I'm sure. More to the point, there is a lesson inside the lesson. As you taught us this morning, we learned from this story and its consequences about rebuilding relationships, and how forgiveness needs to go beyond more than just words, if it is to be truly effective. But we also learn that everyone has faults. Everyone makes mistakes or goes too far, and that there are ways back. We preserve this story because as Jews, we think it is important to know that our mythic ancestors were real human beings, with all that entails. We even imagine that God can go too far and need to make amends. If God can do so, then so can we, created in the divine image. Ellie, the next lesson from your Torah portion, in addition to the one you shared with us today, is that we are not perfect. Even Moses loses his temper, or worries that he is unable to fulfill the role that God asks of him. All of us have our doubts, and sometimes we are justified in those doubts as we do make mistakes. The Torah teaches, however, that imperfection is not an excuse for inaction. The good news is that when we do make mistakes, which we will, there will be a way for us to make them right. Ellie, as you continue your Jewish journey through confirmation and beyond, the one thing that we can all be sure of is that you will continue to make mistakes, as do we all. The question is whether you will allow a fear of those mistakes to keep you from acting. From what you have shown us here this morning, we know that you have the courage and the ability to do well. You also have the ability, as shown by your perseverance with translating your Torah portion, to forge ahead when you think that you don't know something, until you can do it, and do it well. You come from a family of fearless volunteers, always looking to do something else to make your congregation, your community, and the world a better place for everyone. We know that you will not be afraid to continue to carry on in this tradition, even if you find yourself in over your head at times. You should know that all of us here this morning, your friends, your family, your community, are proud of what you have done and are willing to help you out when you need it. Indeed, we look forward to those opportunities. And now we invite up Marjorie Leffler, member of the Board of Trustees of Temple Sholom, to make a presentation on behalf of the congregation.
Ellie, I am honored and thrilled to be representing the Temple Sholom Board of Trustees of your Bat Mitzvah. I got through this job today, but I expected that, and I know that all your friends and your family participated in this job. You're a phenomenal person. You're bright, personable, talented, extremely dedicated. You're extremely dedicated to your family, your friends, and the Temple community. You love Edison Middle School, and you excel there. You play the flute and are on the early morning band. At school, you met a teacher who you respected, and you learned about charity water, as you told us this morning, and made it your Mitzvah project. You told me in an extremely passionate manner how you wanted to help people have access to clean drinking water. You hated that in some third world countries that people have to bathe and drink from the same pool of water. This project means so much to you that you donated all of your birthday presents to it. I was amazed when you told me that. And despite your desire to take relaxing vacations where you can shop till you love, you're still happy to join your family on those biking and camping trips. And personally, I was astounded when you told me that they make you bike 50 miles a day and 10 to 12 miles on those non-travel days. And we still have to plan our girl shopping trip. On behalf of the Temple Board of Trustees, I am pleased to present you with your Tanakh, your Jewish Bible, and your Kiddush cup, which I hope that you're going to use on many Shabbats and holidays. And mazel tov to you, and your mom and dad, Mallory and Tom, and of course your sister Clara, and to all of your extended friends and family.
And now we invite up Carl's parents to share a few words.
Ellie, you did a great job today leading the congregation in prayer, reading from Torah, Haftarah, and teaching us about what you read and learned in this whole process. Daddy and I are very proud of you. And now I'm going to talk a little bit more about my wonderful daughter, taking full advantage of the fact that she has to stand here quietly. Listen to me. And I emphasize quietly. I like 4 pages. I've said to you countless times before, becoming a bat mitzvah is as much about today as it is about the journey you took to get here. We are very proud of what you have accomplished on that journey and how hard you worked to get there. You took the responsibility of getting to this day, and you did a great job. And you have become an adult in the eyes of our religion, and you have embraced that responsibility. And you are a child that takes responsibility very seriously, so I hesitate to add some more. But I want to tell you one more time about the many people you are named after. A long line of Elizabeths. On Daddy's side, Daddy's Aunt Elizabeth and your great Aunt Elizabeth. And though I unfortunately never met her, I know that she was gracious, but she could hold her own in any argument. A characteristic you've already embraced. And you would do well to be named after any of your aunts, but the next aunt is your Aunt Elizabeth. I mean your Aunt Liz, sorry. And that's a tall order to be named after her. She is funny, especially when she's talking about Uncle David. And she is smart and very caring. And she always strives for perfection. And finally, we're named after my Uncle Eddie. And I was so proud to name him after him because the characteristic he has that I don't is his generosity. And one of the ways that he was generous is he did so many things for me, but he always made it seem like I was doing him a favor. And he always came to me, even though he was doing something incredible for me. So as you continue on your journey, I hope you will think about all the people that came before you, those that you were named after, and others. And I know you will honor them by just being you. You amaze Daddy and I with your passion and your tenacity, a little like Moses in the Parsha, always asking questions, never giving up until you get the answer you want. And as your parent, this is a little hard. But I can tell you these qualities will serve you well as you grow into an adult. Your passion for learning and helping others is amazing. You continue to go to Chavruta long after you mastered the prayers because you liked it and you wanted to help others. You have become a Hebrew school aide, and you were disappointed that you couldn't also help on Sunday until second trimester. It's wonderful, Ellie, that you want to spend more time in religious school now, and I love that about you. You are giving back to the temple now, even as you continue to learn. But it isn't just the temple that benefits from your passion. Your commitment to charity water is amazing. You gave up gifts in 6th grade to give to charity water, and I know that was really hard. And I wanted to sneak in just a little bit. You admonished me for not following the rules. And your effort to raise awareness of the plight of people without clean water has been wonderful to watch. And I am proud that you will continue your effort, as I know that you and Julia are planning on leading the presentation in elementary schools on this topic. Ellie, you are blessed with many qualities which will help you on your journey to adulthood. But right now, I'd like you not to think about your plans for the future. And trust me, she has the next 12 years mapped out. But what I want you to do today is think about today. When we were deciding upon a date for your bat mitzvah, I asked you what your favorite holiday. Without hesitation, you said Sukkot, because we get to have our friends and family every night for dinner, and you get to sleep outside sometimes with Daddy and Clara. I agree, Ellie. It is my favorite holiday, and I love Sukkot because it is referred to as Zaman Tzimtzatenu, the season of our joy. We are supposed to be completely happy during Sukkot. The Torah tells us, take joy in your holiday and be completely happy. So Ellie, take a deep breath and look around. And look around the room at all the friends and family that came here to celebrate with you. This is a joyful day, and I hope you feel complete happiness in what you've accomplished. What I hope for you is that when you're accomplishing all those goals you have mapped out for yourself, you continue to take a deep breath and find the joy. Many thanks to the rabbi and to Cantor Glicken for making this day possible, and Vicki I'm thinking that your baby will be born knowing Ellie's Parsha from listening to it week after week. And I'd also like to take a moment to thank, and this is so special to us, all of Ellie's teachers that are here. Her Hebrew school teacher, Laurie, her piano teacher, her flute teacher, Jenny, her drama teacher, Beth, the beloved Miss G, now Mrs. Van Rucker. Thank you all for coming and joining. And I'd like to thank you all for being here to join in our celebration. It is a special day for our family. But mostly, Ellie, I'd like to thank you for being us.
Ellie, it gives me great pleasure on behalf of the Reform Movement and its youth arm, the North American Federation of Temple Youth, to present you with this gift certificate toward a nifty trip to Israel. You hope you get an opportunity as a teenager to either go on a summer trip or spend a semester studying there. In addition, to give you your Tukudat Bat Mitzvah, your Bat Mitzvah certificate, which you signed before we began this morning and which says in part, in becoming a Bat Mitzvah, Ellie has accepted the privileges and responsibilities of being a Jew. Lifelong Torah study and the keeping of mitzvot, Shabbat, holy day and life cycle observances, participation in the life of the synagogue, the Jewish community, and Israel. Dedication to Tikkun Olam, the perfection of all the world.
I would like to offer a special blessing for you today that comes from, that is based on Talmud, reference 17a, and which I think expresses not only my hopes for you, but also hopes of all gathered here, your family, your friends, your relatives. May your eyes shine with the light of Torah.
Brightness of the sky, may
Please rise. We ask for God's blessing. Yivarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha. May God bless you and keep you. Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'kunecha. May the light of God shine for you and be gracious to you. Yisa Adonai panav elecha. V'yasem lecha shalom. May God turn God's face to you and give you a blessing of wholeness and peace. And let us say, Amen. Our service continues with the Ellie, which you can find in your prayer book on page 24. Please be seated. Our thoughts turn to those who have departed this earth, our own loved ones, those whom our friends and neighbors have lost, the martyrs of our people, and those of every race and nation whose lives have been a blessing to humanity. As we take a moment in silence to remember them, let us meditate on the meaning of love and loss, of life and death. Remember at this time those in a congregation still in the period of Shloshim, Mildred Wasserman, as well as those whose yahrzeit occurs in the Shabbat. Emmanuel Altman, Herman Davis, Pasha Fanwood, Audrey Kemmelwald, Zena Mayado, Irving Knock, Samuel Null, Melvin Siegel, Richard Zinn, Irving Block, Samuel G. Dreyer, Philip Hackman, Robert Lipton, Norma Messing, May Nagurny, Oscar Pinn, Fred Walters, Joel Bright, Irving Gordon, Norma Kaufman, Louis Lubin, Donald Miller, Enid Niebren, Martin Rossoff, Raphael Yu. In their memory, in memory of all those in our hearts, and all those who have no one to say the Kaddish for them, we rise as a congregation on page 25 to recite the Kaddish Shepherd. Gadal v'Kadash Shnei Rabban, Gadal v'Rak v'Tei v'Tei, V'Chayekol v'Yomekol, V'Chayekol v'Yisrael, Ha'Gadal v'Zman Karim v'Amen, Yehi Shnei Rabban v'Rak Gadal v'Yamayim, Yitbarach v'Yishtabach v'Yitahar v'Yitoman v'Yitaseh, Yitadar v'Yitalel v'Yitalal Shnei v'Yishab v'Yikalu, Elam Yukol Birkata V'Shirata, Tushbekata V'Mekmata, Dan Yuran V'Yamah V'Yumanim, Yehi Shlam Rabban V'Shmaya, V'chayim Aleinu V'Yokol Yisrael V'Yumanim, Oseh Shalom V'Yumanim, U'yaseh Shalom Aleinu V'Yokol Yisrael V'Yumanim. Source of peace and peace to all the world. Comfort to all of our believers. Let us say, Amen. Please be seated. There will be a Su'udah feast to celebrate this happy occasion coming up later, but so we can begin in the right style. We will start with a Kiddush and Motzi. To say our Kiddush, we bring up Ellie's second cousins, Lauren and Gabe Perna, Danielle and David Feinberg. And there will be, as I said, after the service, there will be wine and grape juice in the back, unless it's already in the sukkah, in which case you're welcome to join in with that and fulfill that mitzvah by celebrating in the sukkah. Also leading us in the motzi afterward are the members of Ellie's Hebrew school class and her Hebrew school teachers. You can please come.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam borei God. Amen.
All right, Ellie's Hebrew school class. And her teachers. Closing song this morning is a Don't Allow, which you can find. Is a Don't Allow, which you can find in your verse on page 26.